Hi everyone, it's Ramon Santillan from Persuasive Interview. Today we'll be talking about how to help your autistic child create a resume. Many times those that fall within the autism spectrum may not have much of official work experience. This lack of work history can seem challenging when preparing a resume. However, there are several ways you can turn your autistic child's or young adult's unique experience into a resume worth an employer's attention. First off, when I work on resumes, what I want to focus on is the content. For starters, if this is for entry-level position, or if your student doesn't have much experience, the format of the resume will be straightforward. You can find a template online. You can just look for resume template, or you can go to persuasiveinterview.com, and we have some templates there that you can download and just look at the examples. But basically, a straightforward template, name at the top, followed by contact information, perhaps an objective, followed by education. Again, if your student doesn't have a lot of experience or they're still in school, they would have education towards the top. That would be followed by work experience, and then projects, honors and awards, skills, and any activities or interests that they might have. And again, you can, especially the activities and interests, if there's not enough room because of other stuff, you can take that out. But of course, if this is someone who doesn't have a lot of experience, we're probably going to keep that in there. I'm going to go too much into detail on the resume. Again, we want to focus on the content. The content, not the format, is what will get you the interview, and soon after that, the job offer. Okay, the next step, you're going to create a deck of accomplishments. The best way to start is by creating your own deck of accomplishments. This is a list of any projects, accomplishments, recognitions, awards, scholarships, presentations, or experiences that you, as a parent or a student, is proud of. Right now, let's just create a list. We will pare it down later on and develop the ideas as we go through the process. So for example, when I sat down with one of my clients to help him prepare a deck of accomplishments, one of the things that he put on there that after talking back and forth, we realized that he built an app for his mom's medical clinic. Another thing he did, he volunteered for 2 months as a website manager for a nonprofit. He also won a scholarship at his college called the President's Scholarships. And one thing he was really happy with, he made a side-scroller video game website. So it was a website that just talked about the side-scroller games that he really enjoyed. For this particular student, creating this deck of accomplishment led us to find out that he had several interesting things he had done, even though he had not officially held a job before. So like I mentioned, there was a scholarship, there was activities and interests related to his degrees, school projects, and personal projects. Sometimes people have a hard time coming up with their accomplishments because they feel like they're bragging. Don't fall into this trap. Even a small project that may seem inconsequential can make a big impact on your resume. Okay, so now that we have a list of accomplishments, just write it down. We're going to segment your deck of accomplishments. For things that are straightforward, for example, scholarships, you would put them under the scholarship section, which, again, towards the bottom of the resume. However, instead of just putting the name of the scholarship, feel free to add some details. For example, you can put how many people applied, the amount you received, how many times you received it, and any requirements to apply, like a minimum GPA. We want to add meat to your resume and make it attractive to employers. Volunteer experience can also be attractive to employers. Again, focus on the work done and any transferable skills that another employer would find useful. Was your student responsible for a certain task or area of a project? Were there any amazing results that came from their time spent there? Make sure to write that down as part of your deck of accomplishments. Next up, things like personal projects can be a gold mine. Many times, students in the autism spectrum have personal or school projects they worked on that they have spent many hours on. Our job now is to find the real lessons learned. For example, in the example I mentioned, my client, one of his personal projects was creating a website where he took a deep dive into side-scroller video games, which was one of his personal passions. Although an employer may not care too much about video games, they do care about being a self-starter, creating a plan, and seeing something completed to fruition. All these things are the things he had to do to create that website for the side-scroller video games that he really enjoyed. Another of his personal projects was creating an app for his mom's medical clinic. This is something we definitely consider as an asset since it's aligning exactly with the type of experience potential employers will look for. More on that below. Even though he wasn't considered an employee, based on the work done, responsibilities, and the deliverable, we decided to go ahead and put this in a volunteer role of website manager under work experience. Both of these projects align exactly what the future employers would look for, since he was looking for software engineering positions. Again, he's doing software engineering work. He didn't get paid for it. It was for his mom's clinic. It was for a website for a nonprofit. However, that is still work. It's work experience. Okay, so now that we have that information there, we're going to develop the story. Turning bullet points on a resume into a story is my favorite part of creating. Remember how I mentioned earlier of thinking about the lessons learned when creating your deck of accomplishments? This is where you're going to get it into high gear. For example, when creating the resume above, I learned that about the app that the student created for his mom's autism-focused clinic. He didn't think it was worth mentioning since it was work he did for his mom. After we discussed it, we were able to present it as a long-term project that he planned, directed, and delivered, all of which were true statements. Also, these are all code words for self-starter, highly motivated, and detail-oriented, all of which are skills highly desired by hiring managers. Think about the skills that job like babysitting or lawn care create. Babysitting teaches responsibility, flexibility, and trustworthiness. You wouldn't have much of a babysitting business if people didn't trust you with their kids. Even maintaining your own yard requires you to be detail-oriented and consistent. Remember, this is an exercise in spin. You don't want to lie, however, you also don't want to sell yourself short. Even the smallest projects can deliver a powerful message. You just have to take the time to develop the story. In conclusion, creating a resume for someone who doesn't have much work experience isn't hard. It just requires time and imagination. Remember, employers don't expect an entry-level employee to know everything. All they want to do is hire someone who is hardworking, dedicated, and a self-starter. Focus on those transferable skills when helping your autistic student create their resume. Thanks again for listening to the video and watching the video. Make sure to subscribe and like, and I'll come back to you soon with another video.